3 of the 5 homicides in Lansing this year involved teenagers. It's a trend both the Lansing Police Department and Ingham County Prosecutor's Office acknowledge is an issue. Crime scene tape and police lights, images that are becoming all too familiar across Lansing. This was the scene of a deadly shooting just 2 days ago on the south side of the city that cost a 20-year-old his life. The people charged with his murder, 2 teenage boys. A 14-year-old and a 16-year-old have each been charged with second-degree murder. It was the 3rd homicide this year that involved teenage suspects.
A pattern of younger males between the ages of really 16 and 25 years old predominantly, who are carrying these firearms and committing crimes with these firearms.
The shooting took place on March 23rd at a bus stop near the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Berry Avenue. Authorities say Shessia was shot and killed just before 11 a.m. on that day. The 2 suspects ran away but were caught by police a short time later.
One person is dead in a shooting on Lansing's south side. Around 6:30 this morning, police responded to a report of a shooting on the 3200 block of South Washington Avenue. This is about a mile away from Everett High School. Now, when police arrived, the 39-year-old victim was laying unresponsive on the ground. He was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say preliminary findings show the victim and suspect knew each other and got into an altercation, which then led to the shooting. Police say a person of interest has been placed into custody. This is a developing story, and of course, we will keep you updated as we learn more.
And breaking overnight, Lansing police are investigating a deadly shooting, leaving 1 man dead and another person in the hospital.
This happened around 10 o'clock near the corner of West Edgewood Boulevard and Washington Avenue.
Now, upon arriving, police say they found a 26-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the head who was pronounced dead later on. And shortly afterwards, they found another person with a gunshot wound at a nearby party store. As of right now, there is no suspect or anyone in custody.
The rate of violent crimes in Michigan is consistently higher than the national average, according to new data released by the FBI.
Violent crimes in the state are most often committed by people ages 20 to 29, and offenders were much more likely to be male, while victims were slightly more likely to be female.
And in terms of race, African Americans are listed as the most common offenders and the most common victims. That's despite the state's population being nearly 80% white.
Those numbers are up for a number of reasons, including the pandemic and the racial inequality riots that happened last year. He says to get those numbers down, please need to get back to the basics.
They get someone else to purchase one legally through a gun store for them.
Ingham County Prosecutor Carol Seaman says another way they get a hold of a gun is to buy a stolen one off someone else.
A lot of times people don't even realize that the gun they have in their home is missing.
And Seaman says with those kinds of guns, more young people are committing violent crimes.
5 juvenile homicides pending right now, as of today, in family court.
The 2 teenagers from Wednesday's shooting are currently staying at the Ingham County Youth Home, but that could change should Prosecutor Seaman's office decide to send them to adult court. She hasn't decided yet, but says she hopes young people understand there are serious consequences for what Seaman says are senseless crimes.
Fighting over a boyfriend-girlfriend or someone who disrespected you. It's horrific to think that people are being killed because they have access to a gun.
We begin this morning with still developing news from Lansing's north side involving a man found fatally shot. Officials say it happened on Climax Street in Lansing around 10:30 last night, and first responders attempted life-saving aid on the 60-year-old man until he was pronounced dead. Police say a canine search at the scene was unsuccessful and the suspect hasn't been found.
33-year-old woman is recovering in the hospital tonight after a shooting this morning in Lansing. It all unfolded at a home on the city's south side. Police responded just after 8 o'clock this morning to the home near the intersection of Louisa Street and Orchard Court. That's just west of Pennsylvania Avenue. Officers found the woman suffering from a gunshot wound. She is expected to recover. Police are looking for a person of interest. They believe the victim and shooter know each other.
Thank you, Darren. We have breaking news this morning. 4 people are injured and in the hospital following a shooting last night. One of the victims, a 22-year-old female, is in critical condition, while the other 3 victims, 2 21-year-old females and a 19-year-old male, are stable. Police were dispatched to the shooting around 10:30 last night. It took place near the intersection of East Michigan Avenue and Magnolia Street, just west of Frandor. Currently, there is no suspect, but there is an ongoing investigation.